Hey class, how's it going? My name is Ryan Bachman. I'm a third year student here at MSU Mankato. I'm a communication studies major with a mass media minor. I'm from Oakdale, Minnesota. It's a suburb right outside the Twin Cities, about 10 minutes. It's really close. Not many people know where it is, but if you're from the city area, a lot of you know where the Maplewood Woodbury area is. And Oakdale is actually right next to those. It's like right in the middle of them, basically. Just nobody knows where it is. It's just not as nice or as big, but it's not small by any means. Like I said, there's 28,000 people that live there, so it's not small. Um, I grew up in a pretty quiet neighborhood in Oakdale. I'd say it's a pretty diverse place overall, though. I went to Tartan High School, which I'd say is a pretty diverse high school for a suburb. The people I lived around, the people in my neighborhood, were basically old white people, if I'm going to be honest. There wasn't a lot of diversity, but there were a few families that had kids growing up that were similar to my age. So that actually worked out because I'm actually really thankful that I did have that because if I didn't have that, I don't know what would have done with my time because like what did you do when you were a kid? I play with the kids in my neighborhood. That's what we did. We would go outside and play basketball or football in the front yard. And it was a quiet neighborhood, like I said, so we could run around and kind of do whatever, whenever, and our parents didn't have to worry that much. And I'm just really thankful that I had that opportunity because I don't know what I would have done with my time if I didn't have that, if I didn't have those kids to play with because that's what I have. That's the memory I have of before middle school, basically, because after middle school, we didn't really hang out that much and we all kind of went our own separate ways. As far as my family goes, I have one younger brother who's actually a freshman at St. Cloud State University this year. So both my mom's kids are away at college. And she and my parents got divorced when I was about 12 or 13 years old. So I've lived with my mom ever since then, and I saw my dad every other weekend when I was in high school, and now I see him just whenever I can, holidays, or just as much as I can, really. A few years later, after my parents got divorced, my mom actually got remarried to my now stepdad Mike, who lives at the house with her now. And so I'm actually really thankful because, like I said, me and my brother are both gone now, so she would have been there all alone. And this is the happiest I've ever seen her, in my opinion, in my life. So I'm just really thankful and appreciative of what he's able to do and what he brings to her life. Um, that brings me to my important people. Some important people to me, like I said, is my stepdad Mike. Like I said, he just brings great joy to my mom, and he fills her time. And I don't know what I would do without him. He's been a really good role model for me since he's came into my life, and so I can't thank him enough. Another person that I'm really thankful for is my grandma Bachman. She's been dead about 10 years. I have the greatest memory of her. She always was had the greatest Christmas Eves. The whole family would go over there. We'd all celebrate Christmas Eve. She'd have tons of presents. Give, give, give. All we could have. So many presents. So many presents. We sit there, we watch the Santa tracker, watch where Santa is, eat cookies, enjoy the family. And just ever since she passed away, it was just never really the same. She was just a really great person. And of course, there's my mom who did everything for me, and I'm just really appreciative of what she was able to do, and she just provided for the whole family. Right now, I'm currently working at Papa Murphy's part time. It's kind of funny because I worked there while I was in high school for 3 years, which is actually, in my opinion, well, at least what I thought when I was there was way too long, and now I'm there again. But I had to get a job this semester. I was running pretty low on cash, so I had to get a part time job. And I figured, why not do something I already know how to do so I don't have to worry about training? So I go in there. I've worked about I've worked about 5 or 6 shifts now. I go in there. I didn't have to train. They just throw me in a line, start making some pizzas. I remember everything pretty good. So that's been going pretty good. And as far as what I like to do, I grew up playing all sports. I grew up playing soccer for the most part. I stuck with soccer through high school. That was the only sport I played in high school, actually. But I grew up playing all sports. Soccer just ended up being my favorite, the one I stuck to. But now as a college student, I just love sports and especially Minnesota sports. So I'm watching the Wild and the Timberwolves every night. The Vikings' disappointing season, as usual, just ended. but we won't talk about that. But you know, that what keeps me going. As I wake up, I look at my phone. What sports are on today? All right, what sports am I watching tonight? What do I got to look forward to tonight on TV? Um, and then sports brings me to my first point. Because in sports you got to work hard, and that brings me to what I really believe in. That's hard work pays off. And if it wasn't for hard work, I wouldn't be standing here telling you this. I believe if you work hard, you can achieve anything or any dream that's realistic. And like my belief in hard work comes from a lot of different places, from whether it's from teachers to athletes, like professional athletes that I watched growing up, or to my coaches or to my parents. Sports is a great way to learn hard work. Whether your coach is there motivating you, it's telling you to play better, telling you to just keep motivating you to do better, or whether it's your teammates or the other team you're feeding off of, then they're working hard and you're feeding off that, and you're working hard, feeding off each other. Um, a few athletes that I looked up to growing up was two great NBA players. I know many of you will know Kobe Bryant, and I'm sure all of you probably know Michael Jordan. Those are just two of my favorite athletes of all time. Those are the two biggest competitors of all time. Those are the two most competitive son of a bitches I have ever seen in my life. But they work so hard all the time, and they both just talk about all the time how they would never be where they are if they didn't work as hard as they did. Um, I don't know how many of you know much about Michael Jordan, but he actually had the flu one game in the NBA Finals, and I know many of you know the flu sucks. Like when you got the flu, you don't want to do nothing but just lay in bed. Like you're not doing nothing. Michael Jordan went out and played an NBA game, and he worked so hard, and he was just going. He worked so hard. He scored 38 points having the flu, and by the time he was done, his teammates had to carry him off the court. His body shut down. He just couldn't do anything. His teammate, he just worked so hard in that game, gave it everything he got, that he couldn't even walk off the court. And that to me, it's insane. It's like such a good example. How you work so hard, and you can achieve anything. Lastly, my mom is also a great place where I got my belief in hard work pays off. She worked hard. My dad didn't really have a job growing up. When I was growing up, he would be in and out. There'd be a few years where he'd be the stay-at-home dad, and my mom would be the only one working, supporting me, my dad, herself, and I, all on just her own income. And like, my dad isn't the greatest husband, father, whatever in the world. So my mom would still have to come home and cook dinner sometimes, and it was I just can't. It was just crazy, and you don't think about it at the time, but now I realize how hard she worked and how little I appreciate it, and how actually much I appreciate it now, and just how much hard work pays off. And she always told me you gotta work hard in school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, and that's how your hard work will pay off in the future. My mom's actually the person I got most of my values from, too. And so one thing I really value is faithfulness. And I know faithfulness can mean a lot of different things. It's a pretty subjective term. But to me, I believe it means standing by the ones you care about. I believe that I got this value through my mom's teachings and just through my own experiences. Like I said, growing up, my parents got divorced, and it wasn't the greatest marriage, and my dad definitely wasn't faithful in many different ways towards my mom, and I just saw the way it ended, and I never wanted that to happen to me. And I just used that as a real learning experience, that faithfulness is just so key to any relationship. But see, it doesn't have to be something as serious as like marriage and divorce. It could be something as simple as your friend making plans with your friend for when you get off work, and then when you call him and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm doing this. I can't hang out." Well, that's not that's not a very good friend if you ask me. Like I look for a friend. If I make plans, then you're gonna be there, and if not, there's something that came up and you told me. Um, so another thing that I value along with that, like that goes along with that, like I'm saying, is I just value friendship as it is. It's your friends are who you lean on in the hard times and who you celebrate the good times with. Your real friends are always there for you, and there's just nothing that can replace a real true friend. Which leads me to my final point, as being a good friend and a good listener is some of my strengths in communication. Along with that, I try to be thorough and precise, have a good posture and body language, and maintain eye contact as much as I can. Last semester, I actually took a communication studies nonverbal class, so nonverbal communication, where they actually taught us just that. And ever since then, I've been trying to be more aware about the posture I'm using and the eye contact I'm making, because you don't realize how much of an effect it actually has on the conversation itself. So that class basically just taught us how to be an effective communicator nonverbally. And then, as far as my weakness in communication, I feel that I can be very shy when meeting new people, and that I'm not very outgoing in that type of scenario. And I know that's something I really need to work on, and I know that it's something that I can get better on. And I know that part of that is becoming better at small talk, because I don't consider myself a very good small talker. But I know that right now is actually a perfect time to talk about it or practice that, because I mean, everybody around me is relatable, or they have something to relate to me. You know, we all have class tomorrow, we all have an exam next week, or we all have this speech right now, right? Or we got an essay due next week in our other communication studies class. So right now is a good time to practice small talk, because you're always gonna have something in common with somebody else that you're sitting by. Um, And finally, some things I can bring to a team or group project is, honestly, I'm just reliable, I'm timely, I'm punctual, I work well with others, and like I said, I'm hardworking, and I'll give you all I got. Thank you.